All right. Welcome, Abbot, to All's Lake, No Lake, name pending, the interview series for WSUM.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and just to start off, could you introduce yourself and tell us about your musical project?
Hey, my name is Abbot. I'm an independent artist currently based in Philadelphia, PA. Started making music in high school. I made like really bad trap beats and I didn't show anybody until college. And I met some people that really inspired me to like start doing this for real. Now I'm doing it for real. So that's me.
Yeah, and it's been great. I feel like your sound is very, very diverse. Like there's some songs that are clearly more like trap rap influenced. There's a couple that are very like mid 2000s emo pop punk. And I just love to know like what genre would you classify yourself as? Like how would you describe your music on your own words?
Honestly, when I make music, I think to myself as I make music, I'm like, what am I listening to right now that I really love? Because I listen to a lot of music and I'm like, how can I just like do something with this same energy? And a lot of times it's by recreating, taking inspiration from different genres and stuff. So that's why like you'll hear like a song where like half of it is that trap influence and then the other half is bringing in like the pop punk shit and like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to curse at all?
You can curse. It's not going to be aired on the FM radio, so you're good.
Word. Just wanted to know if I could watch it. If I had to
Swear
watch
as much as you want.
Word. But yeah, I just like listening to music and then I don't want to like confine myself to any kind of genre or anything like that or anything that limits what I'm making because then I end up, whenever I like try to make a specific genre thing, it doesn't always turn out that good. I think it's always best to like, when I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, what do I want to hear next? That's what I'll do.
So it's more like pick and choose the aspects you've been liking from everything.
Yeah. In terms of what genre I classify myself as, a lot of my friends have been using the term laptop rock, and I like that. I also like not hyper pop because I don't really do pop, but like hyper punk.
Yeah,
So
I saw that on your
somewhere around there.
SoundCloud, and that's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's the music I've been listening to recently, hyperpunk.
Yeah.
And out of those influences you mentioned, what was the weirdest one? Like one that was completely off from what you usually make, but you heard it and was like, oh, I have to put this on my tracks.
Honestly, it would probably be. It's a good question. So technically, I didn't make this part. Gordon Snyder did the outro for Oxygen. He did, but like I kind of directed when I work in collabs when it's with my song. I kind of like direct everything and tell people like, I know you're really good at doing this, so can you do this? But I think it was that like I'm really bad with the EDM genre names, but just like the EDM outro, making it really like just like dancey and stuff, and just like the whole song is like indie pop leading into an EDM outro thing, and I think it's really cool. And there's also I had Patchy May do a guitar solo in there, so like that song's kind of all over the place, but I love it.
Yeah, it is one of my favorites on HD for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd say that's the most far out of like differences. I guess the most different in terms of like one part versus the other part is Everybody Hurts goes from like the trap, dark trap beginning into like the pop punk second half into like an orchestral outro thing. And I don't know. That was kind of crazy too.
And like, especially when you talk about pop punk, I feel like the genre itself is making a big revival recently. And I feel like a huge part of it is also due to like nostalgia, like mid 2000s nostalgia and how like Y2K is becoming aesthetic now.
Yeah. I think a big part of that too is the feeling of punk came back. Like younger kids started getting more involved in like politics and like a lot of shit's going on in the world and just this high energy angst came back. And I think that just kind of played a part in punk itself coming back. And I think it's really cool. Along with like hyperpop. Hyperpop, I think, is like the new like punk.
No, yeah, I get that vibe.
Because it's just like a bunch of kids doing, not giving a fuck about the rules and just doing what they want to do. And I think that's awesome.
And I think that the DIY aspect is like very important in this too. Just like how convenient it is for everyone to pick up like a digital, like a DAW and just mess around and make tracks.
I think it's probably one of the most inspiring things is that people realize they see these people like, you see the people's like break-ins, right? He did a recent blow up in the hyperpop thing, but he makes more, I don't know, people call him hyperpop, but I think he makes cool, like more specific things. But people see that and they're like, oh my God, this guy's incredible. Like I love his music, but you can make that. He does that on his laptop. That's crazy. So I think just that everybody, all you need, like, dude, I just have this mic. I have like a starter here. I have a Squire guitar.
Squire.
This is like $100.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. And my FL Studio, like that's all you need.
Have you ever had any like in studio experience or all your tracks have been made on a bedroom or like a homemade studio?
Everything has been made in either my bedroom, Patsy Mate's bedroom, or Ryan Lahan's bedroom, or Gordon Snyder's. I think that's all my music has ever been made in those 4 rooms.
And can you like talk a little bit about your music making process? I know it's very collaborative. You have your collective and all that. I'd love to hear more about that. Also, how much the local Philly music scene inspires you? Because seeing like your Instagram, your Twitter, and like Patsy Mate's Instagram, it feels like you guys are just like a big family. And I'd love to hear you talk more about that.
Thank you, man. It's super cool to me that people are like noticing that we're like, I think it's really cool. The idea of being part of like a scene or whatever. I think that's so cool. It started out me meeting Ryan Lahan in freshman year of college, and we both made music. We made really different music, but we both made music, and we started just like getting cool. And then through that, we met Gordon Snyder, and then we met Patsy Mate. Well, I met Patsy Mate last, and we were just kind of like kids doing whatever, until like we just kept doing it. So in terms of my music making process, I spend hours in my room alone. I'm probably amongst the 4 of us, I'm the slowest in making music. Like, I'll take 2 weeks to like make one song.
Perfection takes time.
Thank you. Like when I go into music making, on the contrary to Ryan Lahan, because his style is doing stuff on the dime until something like really cool happens and then grow from there. Whereas for me, I kind of plan out what I want to make, and then like I'll do it. I'll like listen to a song, or like I'll just be inspired by something like a movie or something, like, oh, I want to make something that's like this, that feels like this. And then that's why it takes me so long, because I think the longest part is me sitting in front of a blank DAW upwards of like 3 to 4 hours just coming up with a chord progression that like fits what I want to do, or like one thing that I want. And then from there, I'll just like go on and continue from that one thing, whether it's a chord progression, a melody, a small drum loop, or something like that. Like I need something that captures what I want to feel in the song, and then I build outwards from that. Everything is kind of planned out, intentional for me when I make a song. I'm like when I made Envy, I was feeling a huge feeling of enviness about people around me getting attention, and I'm not getting really much attention. And I was, it wasn't a feeling I liked. I hated that. I hate feeling jealous of my friends and stuff. So I came into that, I was like, I'm gonna make something that's kind of angry, but like also like through the song, there's like hidden kind of story to it of like a lesson to be learned. And that's exactly how it started.
Yeah, and now I feel like all pieces are fitting together, because I was gonna mention your song Depression from HD, and how guttural it feels. Like it's very heartfelt, very emotional, and like I would say even cathartic in a way. And is like, does making music have this like peaceful effect on you? Do you use it as some sort of like outlet, or is it more like a side thing? I don't know.
Music is to me the most important outlet that I have. I consider myself not a very talkative person, and like I struggle with conveying emotions in a healthy way. So like music is, I don't want to say, because like I know it's not like, I don't mean it literally, but it's kind of like all I have. Like music is me, like what I create is like a painting of like who I am at that time. If I wasn't doing this, if I wasn't Abbot making music under Abbot, I'd still be making music to myself. Yeah, it's very important to me. I think every piece that I make, a message that I want to get across. It's the most honest I will ever be at that time.
And is that something you expect your listeners to feel as they listen to your tracks? When you make a song, do you think, oh, what is this gonna cause to people? Like, what are people gonna feel when they listen to my lyrics, when they listen to my track, and listen to my beats?
I always hope that people pay attention. I think I make music for people like me, I think. I try to, because when I was growing up, the musicians that I listened to, every song that was really important to me had such a connection. Like I had such a connection to it that like it felt defining to me as a person. Like each thing I recall why it was important to me and stuff. When I make music, I want people to feel that. Like I want people to look at me as an artist that I looked up to as a kid, and just like, I don't know, like I want them to feel like, somebody gets it,
I think that's important. Just like having music as an outlet of emotions, and just knowing that you're not alone, and seeing people being as heartfelt as you are on your tracks in a way that's kind of like normalizing everything. And I think it's a really good work that you do.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
It got really dark for a second here. Let's brighten up a little bit and talk about your music videos, because I think the Envy is really good. Like your outfit there, amazing.
Thank you.
And also the You're an Angel music video with that you made. That's hilarious. Like all the VHS retro aesthetic and like the sci-fi stuff. I'd like to know like more about music video making process and just what you think when you're translating your songs to more like a visual kind of means.
So like I said before, everything I make is kind of like intentional going in, like what I want it to mean and stuff. It's always like I have the meaning, I know what I wanted the end feeling to be and like what I wanted to mean to people, the metaphors and all that. This is how do I get there, and then I fill in the blanks. So when it comes to making music videos, oftentimes while I'm making the song, I'm envisioning the visuals for it, like what would make sense with it and stuff. Like how does every music video that I have has a story to it, and like I think of like how can there be a story that has this song as its soundtrack, and it works really well because of Alex Mindless, who is incredible at just like understanding the emotional impact that I want to have and then creating what it takes to get there. Me and Mindless work really well together because we both kind of have a desire to create something that lasts, and like we put a lot of thought into everything and every like little metaphor within the visuals and stuff. And like he's just incredible to work with and a great guy. He's funny as hell. Love working with him.
That's very interesting that you like think of the visuals as you write the tracks. I've never heard anyone speak to it as the same way as you do. It's just like having everything kind of like premeditated. That's crazy. And yeah, you mentioned like movies before that inspire you, and on their Twitter there's like a little bit of anime as well. And I just love to know if there's like any non-traditional, like any non-musical inspirations that you have that influence your sound a lot. Any movies, any books, anime?
So I think every like source of art that I take in influences what I make. So I could just like list stuff that I liked. My favorite movie is Mr. Nobody, starring Jared Leto. I'm not a huge like movie person that like knows everything about every movie, but this movie really spoke to me because it's about, and it's all over HD. There's like 3 or 4 snippets from it in HD, and it's a movie all about the concept of choices you make in life and how that directs different paths and different possible lives. And I really love the message of it. Yeah, I don't know. It made me feel something, so I wanted to make art that made me feel that same thing. Another thing, I love anime. I
just got out of my radio show and I literally only played anime openings and endings on today's set.
That's sick. That's sick. I should have tuned in.
Yeah, but yeah, what do you like?
When I was a kid, I watched Toonami. You know, when Nick at Night became Toonami every once in a while. I think it was like Saturdays. So like I watched Naruto as a kid, Dragon Ball and stuff like that. And then during like middle school, you know, when you're like super like self-conscious about what everybody thinks of you, I cut myself off from that because I wasn't trying to be like the weird kid. But then like
I relate to that so much.
Yeah, it sucks. And then like growing up, that whole aspect of it. But then like in high school, I started being like, nah, fuck that. I like this stuff. So I started watching it a lot. So some of my favorites are Naruto, My Hero Academia. I love that. It's called the Monogatari series, I think, or just the Gatari series.
Monogatari. I've watched Bakemonogatari. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love the art style in it. I'm trying to think off the top. I love Parasite.
And do you feel like the same inspirations as you get from like a movie like Mr. Nobody when you watch anime? Like,
dude, honestly, probably more. Like,
oh my god,
like anime to me is so cool because everything is about character development and story arcs and stuff. And like it's storytelling that's linear. Not even like it doesn't have to be linear, but it's every piece of it is thought out. And it was always like I love the concept of like the hero, not like in the typical like Superman, like oh he saves the day just because he has to or whatever, but like the concept of like somebody having to take on everything and like doing it, you know, like winning. I think that's really cool. And like growing up, and dude, I grew up with Naruto. Like, I was a kid watching Naruto and he was 10 when I was 10, and then I was 19 finishing up Shippuden. Like I don't know, that shit is cool to me. I love that concept. So that's definitely something I try to incorporate, character development and stuff like that.
Y'all heard it here. Abbot is Naruto. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like the whole character arc translating to the songs, and just because a lot of your songs are about like personal growth and like dealing with your own struggles. And yeah, I can definitely see the inspiration from anime. Now that you mentioned that you have a lot of music on the making and that is gonna blow everyone's minds on Twitter, and I really liked when I saw that tweet. It made me feel so excited. And what direction are you going? Like, are you taking your music into like more experimental areas? Anything that's new that is inspiring you? Like anything musical that you want to try that you haven't done before?
So I felt a huge frustration set by expectations unrealistic expectations that I had right after HD, and just like a lot of like identity crisis things and stuff like that. And that kind of birthed this concept that I have now, which is Kill Anthony, which is separating Abbot from Anthony, and just like how I'm gonna explore that musically and stuff like that. So like Kill Anthony is, well, first off, it's gonna be the name to my next project. I'm not keeping that a secret. I'm pretty open about that. It's kind of like definitely wanted to be the next phase in like my music career. And in terms of like difference in sound, like HD was a lot of like the good guy, the self-betterment and stuff like that, figuring out who you are and stuff like that. And while I'm making Kill Anthony, I'm just discovering more of a fiery, almost like passion and like how I'm expressing that, because I felt like a lot of frustration and anger, and just like not even just about music, but about like a lot of things in my life. And that's kind of like, I mean, you hear it in Envy. There's that anger aspect to it. That's in it. It's frustrating. It's like hungry. Like I want something. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
And first of all, I'm really excited. Like after Envy, and just like knowing now that the whole album is gonna have that vibe. Like the vibe is gonna carry through the angst. As you said, we need more pop punk. We need more. We need more angry people making music. I have to wonder, like, is there a separation between Anthony and Abbot, or would you say they're like becoming more of the same person, or you're turning from Anthony into Abbot? Like, what's your relationship with the Abbot persona?
Abbot is my creation, and like you'll learn a lot about this in the music upcoming, but just Abbot and Anthony ultimately are the same person, but through this next project I'm going to explore the differences in who they are. And I don't want to give away too much, because like I think it's a big part of the story, but I am playing with that concept, and as of right now they're different people.
Okay, as when the album ends, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
And yeah, I want to talk about a little bit about Violet. I feel like it's one of your most popular songs. I've saw a lot of TikToks featuring it. And
really?
Yeah, that's
Dude,
how
I haven't even seen
that's how I found out Patchymate. I'll get into it, but like I knew you from before, and then I saw Violet and I was like, oh, this is fucking great. I have to check it out. And then I found out about Patchymate and like the whole scene. And I just love to know more about that track.
We made Violet, me and Pat made Violet in one night. We made the whole song. The only thing that needed to be done after that night was to mix it. We recorded it and all of that, and we didn't know what the hell to do with it, because it was nothing like anything either of us had dropped before. And I was like, damn, should I put this on my? This was before HD was out, so I was like, should I put this on HD? It was like, should I make like an EP out of this or something like that? Like, should I do, like, we didn't know what to do with this song. We just know we both really liked it. So then we were like, you know what? We're just gonna like wait on it for a little bit. And then months passed, and we were like, you know what? Like, we have this song, we love this song, it has to come out. We decided in like December of 2019 to like January 2020, like in that era, we decided, you know what, we're gonna do this. This sounds like a Valentine's Day song, so we're gonna do it on Valentine's Day. And even though it's like a heartbreak song, but it just felt like that. So we did that, and like we made that music video. That was totally DIY music video. I mean, you can tell by looking at it. It's not a mindless production at all. That is
very good too. Like when you're having dinner with that girl, and it's the face you make before going to your verse.
Dude, that was
very good.
Story behind that. That was one take. Me, Pat, and our friends, we were gonna go to this party thing, and we were like, oh fuck, we gotta like, this video has to come out in a week or something like that. So we gotta film this like right now. So we just did it. That was the first take, and like I was like, oh damn, we gotta do it again. And Pat was like, no, we gotta just run it. And then we just
It's really good.
Thank you. Yeah, that video is definitely goofy, but I love it. I do love it because it was so fun to make, because it was us who didn't know anything about video editing. So.
And again, just goes back to the whole DIY mentality, and like you can do anything if you just do it.
Just like, it was fun, you know, have fun. Do it with your friends, because like your friends probably want to do it too. So just fucking do it.
And I've been wanting to ask this question ever since like I mentioned, oh, I'm gonna interview Abbot to my friends. The way that I saw you first in like 2019, I feel like you know that this is gonna come at one point or another. Plus through Schlatt's What's Popping and like all the fan cams. First thing, I have quoted that video and all of them, like Speed Racer, all of them so many times. What is that? How did they?
All right, so I'm just gonna go through the whole spiel. I've gone through this a bunch. Basically, me, my buddy Brave Hours, were in this kind of like group chat. Well, we have like this private Discord server for just our friends and stuff. And Schlatt was in that Discord server because he was just our friend. This was before he like blew up.
Yeah.
Stuff. This is before he made what's it called, a tribute to Minecraft, which is I think the first thing that like really took off.
And then like SMP Live and everything that he's doing now.
Yeah, everything he did there. So he was just an online friend that we made, and I made that video not for him. I made that like that group chat, the original one, just because like I was being funny and dumb in the group chat. I was copying Casey Fry. Like,
yeah,
it's his joke. I just fucking. But yeah, I just did the video, and then Schlatt started taking off, and he was like, he didn't want to show his face yet, so he asked me if he could use it for like his face cam, and I was like, okay, fine. And then we just started doing that for a little bit. That was pretty funny. I didn't expect it to go as far as it did, and low key, I don't regret it, but like I wish I didn't do it as much because like there's some people now that kind of like only refer to me as that
the what's popping guy.
Yeah, and that's pretty kind of annoying because like, but on the other hand, a lot of people, yourself included, saw me through that meme and then explored more of what I did and became like more involved in like what I'm actually doing. And I think that's really cool. And I met a lot of people that probably didn't even get into this type of music without that kind of like
me, literally me.
And, thank you. Yeah, and yeah. I think that's really cool. And also like I'm not against being a meme. Like I think that shit is funny. A bunch of artists started off as memes and stuff.
Does it ever like get to you? Like you look at the comments of your videos and it's just like, oh, what's popping and take the hoodie definitely off. I don't know. How does that feel? Like the constant reminder.
It definitely annoys the fuck out of me because when people comment it and stuff like that, that means that they clearly don't care about what the fuck I'm doing. They only care about that joke. And that's annoying. And like the other day, I just got like, it sucks when I'm like upset about something and I'll like say something that makes me upset. The other day I was like, yo, I'm really broke as fuck. So I made a tweet about it and I was like really down bad. And then I don't know, I don't want to be reminded about some funny shit when I'm being for real. So I don't know. I think but there's a lot of people and I genuinely love the fuck out of my supporters. And a lot of them are like really funny with it and also like cool people. And I think that's amazing. Most of the time though, nowadays, they don't really comment that stuff anymore. Cause like, I think now I narrowed it down. I kind of like split apart almost a little bit.
Yeah.
Where like most of my fans are like actually my fans. And then there's that like hazy in between people. And then there's a couple people that like just found out
just
about
for Schlatt. Yeah.
But like, he doesn't even do that joke anymore. So I don't I don't get the appeal now.
He has shown his face.
like he's on his own tip now. Like, but
that's crazy. I think
the videos are funny still.
Yeah, I feel like they serve as a really good like gateway to you as a musician, you as a person as well. It is exposure. It's just unfortunate that some people just don't know when to stop the joke.
Yeah, I think it's totally cool because honestly, the people that found me that were meant to, like the people that made sense for them to like my music, all liked my music. Like the only people that like do that stuff are people that like if you look at their pages and stuff, they're clearly not into this type of thing. So, you know, it's to be expected.
Throwing shade at those 14-year-old fangirls. The Schlatt stand. No, man, I get you. It makes sense. Just another fun question. So, like here at WSUM, my show, I play. It's called That's So Cringe, where I play a lot of like guilty pleasure songs and just talk about kind of like what we're talking about anime, how you should like embrace what you actually like and just like be yourself. Yeah. And I want to know like, what's your musical guilty pleasure? Tell us something you're kind of ashamed about.
I have a playlist for this. I'll expose everything. I don't care, man. Right. Let me look at this playlist real quick and I'll list off like the notable ones. Okay, so number one, first guilty pleasure music. I'm like, I fuck with Hamilton. That
let's go.
It's pretty all right, you know. Not like anything else that I make or like that I'm into, but I fuck with it. Another one, fucking this one's more embarrassing.
Go for it.
I don't like fuck with the whole. I think the whole thing kind of sucks, but there's like 2 songs from this other play called Hades Town that I fuck with.
As someone who's like a big musical theater nerd, I'm loving this.
So Hades Town is pretty like it's what's it called? The epic songs and the Come Home With Me. So little Easter egg teaser fact. in this song, and it's not even really a song, it's like a little like interlude thing, I think, in that play or musical, Come Home With Me off Hadestown. There's a harmony melody thing that says your name is like a melody, and that's where I'm like, dude, I love this line, I'm just gonna fucking use it. So in 30 and 3572, at the end part where it does the four on the floor beat, the first line is your name is like a melody, but then I go off, I start doing my own lyrics after that. But like I was like, this is like the line that I'm think like, it was something that I was feeling, but I didn't know how to say. There you go.
Thank you, Hadestown.
All that shit. Another guilty pleasure. There's this one song that blew up off TikTok that I saw while scrolling on TikTok.
Yo, is it Violet by Abbot and Patchymate?
I wish, man. I wish that blew up off TikTok. It was this song called Rat by Penelope Scott. And it's like
the Elon Musk song.
Yeah, the Elon Musk thing. Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. So that's in my guilty pleasure thing. I think that's kind of it. Everything else, I'm not ashamed to like be like, yo, I fucking bump Blink 182 and shit like that. Like I listen to everything.
Pop punk is great. Those are very, very good guilty pleasures. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I haven't listened to them in a long time. But you know what? I might soon.
You should. End the interview, open up Disney Plus, watch the entirety of Hamilton. The second you get off the Zoom call, dun, 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 dun. Just to finish up, is there anything that you still want to say that I haven't asked, or any last messages?
To those that are waiting, I'm sorry for taking so long. I'm figuring stuff out with my next song and the song after that and the song after that, whatever's after that. And basically my main priorities right now is Kill Anthony, and Anything Could Be Here. And Anything Could Be Here, we're just like working a lot on like what it is and what we're gonna do with it. But be excited because I think it's gonna be really cool.
When should we expect that? Do you have a deadline-ish?
We don't have a deadline or anything. Like it's like every time we're like working on it, and it's gonna be cool. And when we're ready to show you guys, you know.
I'm excited. So many great artists together. Gonna sound great. But yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to the interview. I really, really appreciate you agreeing.
Of course, man. I think this is awesome what you're doing. Thank you for having me.
And before I stop recording, can we just like take a little screenshot picture? Oh my god, I have to crop it. I'm sorry. There we go.